Hello, and welcome back to the club. I am one of your hosts, Katie Hoyt, and I am joined today by a girl who I miss so effing much. I cannot wait to see you in 6 weeks or something like that?
Yeah, I think it's less, actually. I'm so excited.
So excited. So Ashlyn is coming down to see us for the 4th of July. I cannot wait. I haven't seen you since Christmas.
I know it's been way too long, and we've been trying to sneak back home on free weekends. We have long weekend this weekend for Memorial Day, and we've been really trying to get back home, but we have this Scotland trip in June that has really been fucking up all the plans because I literally don't have one extra day of vacation left. But it restarts on July 1st, so I took off July 1st, July 2nd, July 3rd, and we're gonna go home and see everybody. Susanna has not stopped talking about it. She's so excited to see Aunt Katie and Tyber.
Aww.
And we're going to stay with Katie and Hoyt for a bit. And then we're also going to go back up to our family's house and just hang out with them for the weekend. So we could not be more excited.
Yeah.
And Katie and Hoyt are prepared to host. They have a big shindig for the 4th.
Yes. So Hoyt always I don't know why. We did a shrimp boil for Hoyt's birthday 2 years ago. And then the following summer, we did another shrimp boil at his parents' house. I think that one was also for the 4th of July. I can't really remember. But now he's calling it an annual shrimp boil. And I'm like, babe, just because you did it 2 times doesn't mean it's an annual thing. But anyway,
maybe. I mean, now it can be. I guess that's the vision.
It can be
annual now.
Yeah, but anyway, we're having a shrimp boil, which is fun. I am allergic to shrimp, but I still like the vibes. The energy is fine as long as he provides me food that I can eat. I don't really care. It's fine.
That's fair. I will say Katie has been such a patient shrimp allergy haver because the shrimp allergy found her in adulthood. And this was a girl who loved shrimp and always was partaking in shrimp boils. And now she's just going to them unabashedly very often. I feel like Hoyt's family is a big outdoor party shrimp family.
Yeah, they are.
And the way that would give me hives, just thinking about what if they grabbed a shrimp and then grabbed a brownie and now you're eating the shrimp brownie or whatever, whatever, but you deal with it with such grace.
Thank you.
I would cause a scene, but you're doing great. They're lucky to have you.
Yeah, no, I completely agree.
But speaking of Hoyt's birthday, he just celebrated a big one, didn't he?
He did, yeah. So my husband just turned 30. We had a big surprise birthday for him at his parents' house the weekend before his birthday. His birthday was on a Wednesday or something. So we did that. And then the following weekend, we went to Atlanta because the Dodgers played in Atlanta. So we went to that game. His dad gets these really, really, really good tickets, literally right behind home plate. And you're in this club, the Delta Club, where it's all you can eat, all you can drink, so fun. And everything was great until we went out to go the game to get started, and then there was a 3-hour rain delay, and so the game did not start until 10:15 p.m.
God,
and
I would cry.
I almost did, truly. And what am I gonna do? We're with his parents. It's his birthday. I can't say, no, let's just leave.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, I could have, but I was a good sport. And
you would never. I would never. I don't blame you.
No.
You did the right thing.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So other than that, the only other update that I have for you guys is that they've fixed my back door again. Okay. They put...
Oh my God. Allegedly.
Yeah. They put a roof over it literally yesterday. They put over... So it's a sliding glass door on the bottom level of our house, and then above that is a patio that also has a sliding glass door to go out into the patio. They put a roof on top of this patio, and they said that this is going to stop the rain from getting in because the issue was that the door above the door that's leaking was causing the leak. Okay, so last night it rains, and the door above the leaking door was getting wet still, and I was like, I swear to God, if this door still leaks, I will have to be institutionalized. I'm not going to make it through.
Seriously.
I'm not going to make it through another round of this. At this point, I'm just going to be look, I'm calling an attorney. Give me my money back.
No, seriously, because you've gone through so much shit with this fucking door. And then they want to come to Katie and be like, oh, the wood's rotten. Can you believe that? She's like, yeah, I can fucking believe that.
Right.
It's been wet for 13 months.
Yeah.
At minimum. Like, what the fuck? Mm-hmm. I don't understand these people. Like,
Same.
Disrespectfully, get it together. Figure out how to build a house before you build houses for people. I don't.
Right.
Where's the disconnect? Like, these people are having problems.
Yeah.
Fix it.
Yeah, I don't know. And like the people who fix the door, I really like them because it's like they contract this out to someone else, so it's not their regular people. And like the people
Thank
who are
God.
fixing the door also talking shit about them, like they just throw these houses up and like it's so fast. The quality is so low, whatever. So it's nice we can kind of like kiki with the guys that come out here to do these fixes and
Enemy
everything.
of your enemy is your
yes,
friend, right?
exactly. So anyway, I don't know, but that's pretty much all that we've had going on this month. Hoyt was in Chicago for a trade show. I was home alone for a week, and so I didn't do literally
Left your own
anything.
devices. That sounds so nice. That's what I do when Jake is not here. The way that I rot. It's Susanna. If I don't have Susanna, but like even when she's in bed, I'm like, should I get on TikTok and just like lay here?
Yes.
But yeah, I will say I was so happy that Hoyt's birthday went off without a hitch because that man was on to something. Like he was trying to figure it out at every turn.
Yeah.
And it was like he kept like kind of whining that he wasn't doing anything for his birthday, which I found incredibly funny because then Katie couldn't even say anything back. She's like, oh yeah, I guess we just have to like have dinner with your parents. That's kind of the best we could do, and they have this huge pool party, surprise party planned, and he had no clue. He was very surprised, but it was funny the way he was like kind of open about not having a party.
He kept saying like,
bless him.
He was like, well, so we're not really like doing anything for my birthday. And I was like, yeah, I know. Like, what do you want to do? I kept just like prompting him. And one thing about Hoyt is that he's not going to make a decision on his own. He's going to need to be guided to a decision or like an idea put in his head about what he wants to do.
Yeah, but as the controller that you are, I'm sure he was like, why is Katie not forcing me to do something for my birthday?
Yeah.
I bet he was so confused.
Yeah, but it went off without a hitch. The only thing is that everybody was like parked like a little further down the street from his parents' house, and he recognized some people's cars. So at that point, he said like he kind of thought there might be some people there, but
Yeah.
it still worked out.
Yeah, it worked out beautifully. And I do want to address the elephant in the room today. Katie and I are matching.
Oh,
If you're
yes.
not watching on YouTube, you should be. We have on our matching pink and white tees. I got the white version. She got the pink version. We're so fucking cute today. Just one size fits all. And yeah, toastmerch.com.
Yeah, not to be confused with, what do they say, shopchanel.com.
Shopchanel.com. Yeah, not to be confused. If you're new here or you're just here because you're an Emily Henry fan, we are avid Toast listeners. If that offends you, I let it. And we love them. We got these girly tees. It's just like kind of Toast merch. We don't quite have the following yet to have our own merch, but if we did, I feel like this would be the vibe that we'd go for. Like big baggy tee, pink and white, nothing really crazy.
Yep.
And so when this came out, I was like, we have to get the matching ones. Which now that I'm seeing you in the pink one, I'm like, damn, I should have got the pink.
You
Like,
still
it's
can.
really popping.
You still can.
I still can get the pink. That's so true. Maybe I should. I also felt like this one was a little bit more obscure, like because it's white with light pink. I could wear this out and it was not like screaming.
Yeah.
Girly, but I don't know.
No, it's so cute.
I don't know. I love her.
I like our coordinating, and I think it goes nicely because, like, I have the lighter hair and the darker shirt, and you have the darker hair and the lighter
Fair.
shirt. It works out for us. So, extremely cute. And then as of yesterday, Claudia announced that she had her baby, and so, oh my gosh, the video.
I can't wait. She didn't announce a name, or at least I didn't see in the caption.
No,
that she
and I
announced a name.
think I don't know. So I'm speaking like out of ignorance. I think they don't announce the name until the bris in Jewish culture.
You're right.
So I think, and that's what, like 8 days or something after.
It's a little bit.
So anyway, yeah, we're not gonna know for a while, but I'm so happy for them. The TikTok that she posted was seriously so fucking
It was so
sweet.
cute. I literally teared up.
Same. And I watched it like 15 times. Hoyt was like, what is that? And so like I showed him and I told him like 3 times. I was like, did I tell you that Claudia had her baby? And he's like, yeah. No, I know. Like
Yeah, you did.
I saw it. You showed me the video. So
Yeah. You know what, Claudia, if you ever find yourself stumbling upon this podcast, like, we love you. We're so happy for you.
yes.
Could not be more excited for your new journey of motherhood. Like, oh God, it's the best thing in the world. Speaking of motherhood, speaking of big parties, Susanna hosted her first event last night at her new house.
Oh, wow.
And it was wonderful. We had like 20 something people over here, just like all my co-residents and their kids and their significant others, as kind of a going away party. So in June is our senior residents, our 5th years. It's their last month of being like in clinic, but they both scheduled themselves for like elective research time so that they could move. One's moving to Texas, one's moving to Minneapolis, or like kind of suburbs of Minneapolis. And they're leaving in like 2 weeks. So I was like, okay, well, let's just host a shindig.
Yeah.
And everyone brought their kids and they were playing outside in the water and playing with balls and jumping around. Oh my God, it was magnificent.
Oh, that's so sweet. How many kids were there?
There were 5 kids total over here, all around Susanna's age. The oldest was 3.
Oh, wow.
Or maybe he's 4, about to be 4. But they were all just like having so much fun, and everyone brought their dogs too, and so the kids were like loving playing with the dogs. It was so sweet.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, it was the best. I know, we had so much fun. And then I convinced Jake to get a grill for this event, so now we have a grill. We're going to be grilling out tomorrow again with some of our neighbors. And so, you know, really just in her hosting era.
No, you've been like super social this weekend.
I will say, yeah, my social battery is fully recharged now. Like, I got to hang out with everybody. I got to see everybody. We went to a neighborhood barbecue for some of our friends up, kind of that live north of us. They have a huge neighborhood with tons of kids. And so we went over there on Friday night and stayed out way past bedtime. We didn't get home until like 12:30. And then last night we didn't go to bed until 11:30. So while I feel recharged socially, physically I'm exhausted.
Right. Yeah. No, that amount of sleep 2 days in a row, like that just doesn't really cut it.
Oh, I know. So it is exhausting, but it's so much fun just to have everyone get to hang out, including Susanna. Like, just getting to have her join us for all of our weekend plans is really fun. So
yeah,
that's been great. That's kind of the only updates I have from my life, really. I mean, I've really just been working and now partying, thank God.
Yeah. Oh, I also want to address another like elephant in the room, that this podcast is late coming out. So we apologize.
That's on me.
No, it's not.
That's on me.
It's not
Shout out to
on
Katie
you
for being like, yeah, well, Katie was ready, I'll say. Like, and the crazy part is like we had more weeks to prepare for this one. And so I got started on the book like 3 weeks ago, and I just haven't been able to land the plane, really. Like, and we'll get into why. But the thing is, like, I really was just too busy at work. I could have made it work, but work this month has been incredibly hectic. And it's weird. And I've talked to Katie about this. The attending that I'm working with is not like overly busy, but she gives you a lot of extra work to do. And so, like, she does like pretty much a half day on Tuesday, a kind of a light day on Wednesday, but you're still so stressed out from Monday that like you're still catching up. And so by the time her academic day, which is like a remote work from home day, on Friday comes around, like I am still catching up on shit and like working through the weekend. And it's weird. It's like a really weird schedule. So I'm just in the adjustment period. And so reading wasn't really on my list of priorities. It wasn't high enough on my priorities list. And so then the weekend came that we were supposed to record, kind of hit me like a freight train. I was like, oh my God, like it's literally the last weekend that we could record to get it out on time. And just didn't happen. So I apologize for the lateness of this episode. I did have some people ask me about the book already, and I just finished last night at like midnight. So these are my official thoughts for the first time.
Okay. Well, before we get into the book, we did have like a little bit of book news that we need to discuss.
Yeah, there's a lot of good pop culture stuff going on right
Yes.
now.
Okay. So the first thing that I want to bring up is that Rachel Schneider, who wrote Metal Slinger, and I believe that was the first book. I believe that was the January 2025 book that we covered. And so per Ashlyn's, I don't know, Ashlyn told me this, that she finished writing book number 2.
Is per her Instagram. So she posted like a reel of her typing the end, and she hit enter and like closed the thing, and then she's pouring a glass of whiskey, and it's Halsey's Castle. That song's like, I'm headed straight for the castle. They want to make me their queen.
Okay. That's really funny.
I'm like, I think that the book is going to be really good. And I'm just excited because if you don't follow us on Instagram or TikTok or whatever, Rachel actually dubbed one of our videos, or actually we didn't even post it as a reel, which is the funny part. Somehow Rachel's husband, shout out to him, I was so excited, he somehow found our podcast. Someone maybe sent it to him, of the clip of us like making fun of Louisiana and her accent for Brienne, and she thought it was funny. Thank God. She's a girly and like has a good sense of humor, because we were being bitches as usual. But she clipped it and it was so funny. I was just glad to like get her to, I was just happy that she saw it.
Same.
And for her to share it meant so much to me. And so like now I'm a mega fan of hers.
No, same. Like she can do absolutely no wrong in my eyes at this point in time. Like anyone who can take, because obviously the clip that like she stitched was really funny, but like we were kind of being mean. So anybody who can take that on the chin and like laugh, especially because we're laughing at her, not even at the book or like something that she did. I mean, I guess technically,
yeah, literally at her.
Yeah. But no, it was great, and the comments were funny too. Like people were just laughing like, oh my gosh, like now I'm gonna say it this way in my head. So it was really, really funny. But let me tell you, and this is what's so crazy, I got on TikTok and the notification, I didn't like get a I don't have TikTok notifications on. I just happened to log on to TikTok, and 1 minute prior, I had gotten the notification that she tagged us, and I literally, my heart sank to my ass. Like, this is not real. Surely not the real Rachel.
Maybe this is just another person named this.
Yes. I was like, what? Like, it didn't feel real. And so when I saw it, my heart was pounding so fucking fast to wait and see the part that she had actually like was going to be talking about our podcast. I could not believe, but I sent it to Ashlyn and I was like, oh my God. Like I'm literally shaking. This is the craziest thing.
No, me too. It was unbelievable. I was so excited. And then I was like, second guessing myself. I was like, I hope she didn't watch more things that we said that were mean. But honestly, like it seems like she really did think it was funny and take it all in good stride.
Yep.
But Mr. Rachel Schneider, you have just bought your wife a 5-star review from me from the next book.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's a piece of shit. I'm a sellout. Like I'm going to now rank it perfectly.
Yeah. I completely agree. Like she can do absolutely no wrong. So that was
I did
really
want to
crazy.
talk about this for a second too, because I saw a lot of people in the comments that they don't know us and we're being mean on the internet. So like whatever. They were like, we're from Louisiana and there's roads and it's not just a swamp and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, no, there's literally not roads. Like she was like kind of backing us up and it was really funny. But the thing is, we were talking about her accent and we're saying it with our Alabama accent. So it's really pot and kettle situation. So what I was thinking was, what do you think is your countryest words that you say?
Okay, so
Like what do you think is like the most southern thing that you say?
I think so. First of all, I do want to just say, growing up, I had a much, much, much thicker accent than what I have now. After college, I moved to Kansas City and I got so much shit for having an accent there. I think like maybe this wasn't necessarily conscious, but being around people who don't have an accent, like I feel like you tend to pick up on the way that they speak. And so I felt like I lost a little bit then, but then obviously like Hoyt's family, they're originally from Ohio and I spend a ton of time with them and I live with him. So I feel like over time my accent has dwindled a little bit, but there was something. See, like sometimes it just like kind of comes out. There was something in that clip that I was saying and I can't remember
That was
what
country.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was like, I guess I just like don't really notice it, but like things like your classic like oil, OIL. I really try
That's
to
oil.
I really try
Yeah.
to enunciate that one because I feel like that one's just like dead giveaway. But I feel like for myself, I just say like I never really say like I.
Yes.
That's
yeah.
a really big one for me. But like another one that
One thing that I notice when you talk for the most is like, tell me what you call when your hair is big. The word. Tell me the word VOLUME.
volume. Do you say volume?
That's the one. Yeah, I think everyone on the planet does. And then the other thing that you say is and this doesn't, I think for a non-Southerner and something that maybe if you're trying to emulate a Southern accent, this would be missed, but this is very Southern. Pronounce STUDIO.
Studio?
Okay, you didn't do it as bad as always, but you really hit your studio sound and stuff.
Okay.
Yes, so you'll do that and I'm like, that is Southern.
Do you
right
know what
there.
else I do? And this is one that Hoyt has given me shit for forever, and that's the movie theater.
Theater. That's, oh my God, that's quintessential.
And then another one that this one drives me insane because, like, look, I'm not ever going to say that the way Southern people speak is the correct way. Never. Like, you won't catch me dead. One thing that we are right about is when something has like AW in it. So, like, for instance, the word HAWK, hawk. It's a hawk. It's not a hawk.
It's a hawk. It's not a hawk.
Or
like that's HOCK. There's another word for that.
Yes. I will die on this hill. Or like SAW. I saw something. It's saw. It's not saw. You're not saying the W at all. Like that one drives me crazy. That's a big one that me and Hoyt fight about a lot.
That's really funny. Yeah. I kind of had the same experience as you. I grew up thick accent. Then I went to Auburn, which used to be pronounced Auburn. And then I went there and a lot of people just are like from cities that don't have an accent. And then we moved after there to Orlando. Constant shit from people I worked with. And it's just, I'm also in a profession that it behooves me to not sound fucking dumb.
Yes.
Like no one's going to go to their doctor if they think they're an idiot. So I think being around people in a professional setting, I try to be as enunciative. I don't know if that's a word. I probably made that up. But I try to enunciate as much as I can and make things really clear. And in order to do that, I feel like I do have to back off on the accent a little bit. And then just being in Utah, like nobody talks like that here. But mostly it's the I. When I say I, they're like, huh?
Yes. And one thing that I catch you doing.
Or mine.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a big one too. But I catch you all the time hitting the Utah dill.
Oh my God. That has seeped into me because I think it's like, it's one of those things where it could be taken as Southern, but it's really not.
Yeah.
Like when I used to say the word DEAL, I used to say deal, deal. And they say dill here, like DILL, like that's a big dill. And so I'm kind of in this weird middle ground where I kind of go back and forth, but it's I'm not saying deal.
Yeah.
I'm just saying either dill or deal.
You do. What's some other ones? Because there's been definitely like
there's real. They say real.
I feel like there's one with like an S. I guess it's not like like still maybe like instead of steal.
Maybe.
There's one
Probably.
that you say like from time to time and you'll catch yourself like on Snapchat in the mornings. You'll catch yourself, but that one I do feel has really just like seeped in. Has just under the radar slid into your
Permeated.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm like, I guess I'm from here now. No, it's crazy. It's
Yeah.
crazy. But yeah, I just wanted to let everybody know that we're just as hard on ourselves as we are on these girls. Probably harder on ourselves,
Yes.
to be honest.
100%.
But having a Southern accent is cute and funny, and we wouldn't have been able to disseminate the information about that character's name without having the insider knowledge.
Exactly. So, yeah. It's always when I lived in Kansas City, which I thought at first, like, this is so cute. Like, I have my little accent after literally a week of living there, and every single person that you come into contact with, where are you from? One time, I worked in like Home Depot stores, and one of the guys that I worked with was like, has anyone ever not asked you where you're from? And I was like, I genuinely don't think so. And like,
No, I can't imagine that they haven't.
It was all day, every day. I would do my best not to speak, and people would be so fucking rude about it sometimes. Like, this one guy.
Yeah.
No, I'm
the
just
Midwest is different. They don't hold back.
Yeah, and this is really like this is the like induced some trauma. But this one guy was in a Home Depot.
Induced. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. This one guy in a Home Depot store, he was looking for a set of drill bits. And he said, "Do you know where these are at?" And I said, "Hang on, let me go look." So I pull up the little device that they have, and I look, and I'm like, it says they have, I don't know, 5 in stock, but I don't see them anywhere. They must, like, the count's probably wrong if I had to guess, because people like to steal little stuff like that all the time. So
yeah.
that's really easy for people to steal. This man looks at me and says, "Do you have a college degree?" And I said, "Yeah, I have 2 actually, because I got my master's." And he said, "You wasted every dollar that you spent on those degrees because you will never be anything more than a stupid girl from Alabama," and walked away. I was like, I don't know if you know this. I don't own this store. Like,
The woman was too stunned to speak. What the fuck?
it was
is wrong with people?
It was really crazy. He was like an old man, and
Sorry, I just answered your question exactly how you needed me to.
right, like, I don't know. So when I told my boss that, he was like, "What did you do?" I was like, "What do you mean? I went to the bathroom and cried." Like, and then I left. I went home
what
for
am
the
I supposed
day.
to do?
Like,
Yeah.
so
Ooh, what the fuck? Like, I would literally not recover. I would have to move. I wouldn't go back to that Home Depot.
No,
Like,
no. And I don't
find
think I
somebody
did.
else.
I don't think that I did.
This
Like,
man was old, right?
yes, he was an older guy, and I was like, whatever. Like, this was in Nebraska too, and when I lived in Kansas City and I had the Nebraska territory, I loved Nebraska. I loved everybody there, the people that I worked with. So this really, it was like a one-off type situation. But like, don't ever let anybody tell you that the people from the Midwest is the friendliest people in the world. Like, no, they ain't.
I don't think anybody's saying that. And if you're from Nebraska, I don't want to fucking hear a word.
And you're in the
I don't
Home
wanna hear a
Depot.
word.
Like, what do you? I feel like I'm more educated than you. I don't know. And like, I was young then. I was probably 23, 24. So I didn't say anything. I just clammed up. Nowadays, that shit would not fucking fly. I would berate this man verbally these days. But I wish.
Yeah, no, it takes a while to grow into that. But it's also like, you shouldn't have to do that. You shouldn't have to defend yourself at your job. That At least we're nicer than that.
Yeah, exactly. So, okay, now that we're almost 30 minutes in, we got 2 more pieces of book info that we need to share. So, the next thing is that Hannah Brown has announced that her second book is coming out on June 24th, and that book is The 4 Engagement Rings of Sybil Rain. And let me just say, I called it.
Everyone run Katie her money, because I did not believe that she was, like, of course I wanted to know,
Of course,
what was going to happen, or like what happened with Sybil, but like, I was like, no, she's not going to write like a sequel to a rom-com, surely. The way that I will be the first in line to pick this book up.
Same. I am dying to know what happened to Sybil at the end of that book. And if you haven't read the
I
book, we
know.
covered the book, and it's a really short, easy, fun, cute summer read. So perfect for like this time
Yes,
of
it is
year.
actually, yeah, very easy read, very cute. I thoroughly enjoyed myself.
Same.
You should read it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. And hopefully we can pick that up this summer. I'm really excited. Okay, so last piece of book news is Sunrise on the Reaping casting is slowly but surely being announced. So I'm going to let you take this one just because this is like your area of expertise. So what do
Okay.
you want to say? How do you want to go about this?
Okay, so I'm just going to go through the characters that we thought were like important enough to bring up. I don't want to go through every single one, but basically the Hunger Games has an Instagram page and probably TikTok. I didn't look for that, but they've been posting like these videos of each new casting. And so it's like, oh my God, I'm so excited. So the first one is Haymitch was cast by this actor named Joseph Zada, Zada. So I've never heard of this man, but the photos look exactly like what I want.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. No, he looks
Like
perfect.
precisely what I want. So then I clicked on him, like whenever I was like just looking up who he was, and it turns out he was also cast in We Were Liars, which
Oh.
if you haven't like heard us talk about this book before, Katie hasn't read it, but I have, and I am so obsessed with it. I haven't read any of like the prequel stuff, but the movie should be coming out. I think it's in June or July of this
Yeah.
year. And it's like kind of a psychological, I don't know, I wouldn't say call it a thriller, but it's a psychological, I think it's called like technically in like a horror, but it's not like
Okay.
gory or anything. But it is so fucking good. And so for this guy to get cast in like that, like the book of the year 3 years ago, and this, I feel like he's really good. He must be really good.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm so excited. He was like, when I saw him, I was like, now that's Haymitch. That is a perfect casting. Like they absolutely nailed it.
So he's perfect. And then they also cast Maisie as this girl named McKenna Grace. Now, I did not look into her, but I did not feel like there was any digging needed to be done.
Yeah.
Face card is Maisie.
Oh my gosh, she's perfect too. Like, cause
Perfect.
you sent me Haymitch and Maisie, and both I was like, this is quite literally perfect. Like I couldn't have asked for anything more. This is perfect.
Yeah, it was awesome. And then one thing that I'm really, really excited about, and I think this is what kind of got the culture like talking about it, is the casting for Effie Trinket was Elle Fanning. And the crowd went wild. Like, I'm talking about people were like commenting like, who's the casting director? I just want to kiss him on the mouth. Like, this is perfect. Or her, I don't know. Like, this is the perfect casting. I can't believe it. And they're posting all these photos of Elle dressed up in these crazy outfits. Because apparently she's like really big into like fashion, and which I think she is a model
Yeah.
like by trade, but she's like always posting these like really cool like makeup looks and outfits and like very outlandish, very Effie things.
Yeah.
So I think she's going to be perfect.
Yes. No, that's, and I feel like she's a good get. Like she's a big name, and she's not necessarily playing, you know, one of the main characters, but is someone who's really going to have a lot of pull for the movie. Anyone who's a fan of Elle is definitely going to be watching this, especially if you are part of our kind of like generation of people who are obsessed with
Yeah.
Hunger Games. So
Yeah, because Effie's such a good character too, because she's like the best, one of the best characters in the original Hunger Games.
Yeah.
And so I think it was really important to a lot of people that they get this one right.
yep.
Okay, and then Wyrus was cast as Maya Hawke, who is like a nepo choice, but the face card, like compared to the person who plays her in the second or I guess it's the third, I don't know, second and third probably, movies, it's spot on. It's so good.
Yeah.
I don't know what all she's been in. I think she was in Stranger Things or something, Katie had
Oh
said.
yeah. I forgot, but because you said like Maya Hawke, and I was like, I don't even know who that person is, but apparently she's Uma Thurman's daughter, so
Yeah.
a little bit of nepo, but that's okay.
Yeah. That's okay. The only reason I know her is because I used to listen to this podcast called Beyond the Blinds. If you haven't listened to that, and you're into pop culture, like um, the gutters of Hollywood, then I think you should. But she came up some in like some of, like the yachting and stuff. But anyway, I think it's a good choice. And then Plutarch was cast as Jesse Plemons, which sounded familiar. I didn't look into him, but they posted all of these like, this is the character that played him in the movies, like the old movies, and this is him now, you know. Again, like they just found people that like really looked like the younger versions
Yes,
of the
and
original cast. It's crazy.
If you watched Friday Night Lights, he played Landry in Friday Night Lights. So that's how I know him. And I
Okay.
swear I've seen him in a lot of other stuff. But like when I was looking on his IMDb, I couldn't like find the other things that I've seen him in. But I know he is like a fairly well-known name, especially for, you know, same thing, people in our generation, people who watched Friday Night Lights back a long time ago when it was coming out. So I think that was a really good one as well.
Yeah, totally. Okay, and then the last one I have is Snow was cast as none other than the Dark Lord himself, Ralph Fiennes.
Yeah.
I don't think that the faces match, but I don't give a fuck.
No, this
Like,
is perfect.
You're casting a villain. You casted the villain.
Exactly. I completely agree. Like, so exciting. Excuse me. I think that this cast, like, they have a really good mix of, like, having Haymitch be kind of an unknown a little bit, someone who's, like, new on the scene. So it's not necessarily somebody who is already, like, associated with any other kind of, like, series or anything. But then you've got these, like, big names that everybody knows and loves that you've pulled in for kind of the supporting characters. Truly, like, chef's kiss. I think that they have absolutely nailed it.
I think so too. I just kept seeing everyone being like, on the Ralph Fiennes announcement, they're like, girl, we know. Like, you can't cast Snow with anybody else except for Lord Voldemort. Like,
Right.
There's not really a better way to do it. So I think this is going to be a great movie. I cannot fucking wait.
No, same.
Can't
And I'm planning on you flying home so that we can go to the midnight premiere together.
Well, I think it'll be the week of Thanksgiving. So that might really work out. I can make it happen.
Yeah, no, I can't wait. We'll go together and it's going to be a grand old time. But I think it doesn't come out until 2026. Okay. So we've got a little while, but it'll be worth the wait. I just know it.
Yeah, I think so too. So speaking of worth the wait, if you want to get into the book that we came here to discuss today, I'd be happy to do that.
Absolutely. After we've rambled for God even knows how long. So, okay. This book is Great Big Beautiful Life by our queen, Emily Henry. So we'll do author biography and book synopsis. So, I'll read our author biography. Emily Henry is a best-selling American author from Cincinnati, Ohio. Henry attended Hope College on a creative writing scholarship with plans to study dance. She also completed a writing residency at the now-defunct New York Center for Art and Media Studies, part of Bethel University. She returns to Cincinnati after college, where she began writing YA magical realism. As she approached her 30s, however, she realized she had nothing left to say about teenagers. Though she'd preferred darker stories in the past, she began struggling with anxiety and wanted to try her hand at something lighter, and thus began writing adult romance novels. She currently lives and writes in Cincinnati and Kentucky's Northern Ohio River region. She's a full-time writer and proofreader.
Very cool.
Yeah.
We've read this one before. Not much to say about it. I do wish there was a little bit more personal info. I genuinely don't give a fuck where they went to school or anything.
No,
they don't have to have a degree, and they could be a good writer.
Exactly. And we pointed this out last time, but saying like the now defunct New York Center for Arts and Media Studies is so funny.
Like, fuck you guys.
So funny. But yeah, nothing to write home about here. So that's our girl.
Yeah. Okay. So the book synopsis looks long, but here we go. Alice Scott is an eternal optimist, still dreaming of her big writing break. Hayden Anderson is a Pulitzer Prize-winning human thundercloud. And they're both on balmy Little Crescent Island for the same reason, to write the biography of a woman no one has seen in years, or at least to meet with the octogenarian who claims to be Margaret Ives. Tragic heiress, former tabloid princess, and daughter of one of the most storied and scandalous families of the 20th century. When Margaret invites them both for a 1-month trial period, after which she'll choose the person who'll tell her story, there are 3 things keeping Alice's head in the game. 1, Alice genuinely likes people, which means people usually like Alice, and she has a whole month to win the legendary woman over. 2, she's ready for this job and the chance to impress her perennially unimpressed family with a serious publication. 3, Hayden Anderson, who should have no reason to be concerned about losing this book, is glowering at her in a shaken to the core way that suggests he sees her as competition. But the problem is, Margaret is only giving each of them pieces of her story, pieces they can't swap to put together because of an ironclad NDA and an inconvenient yearning pulsing between them every time they're in the same room. And it's becoming abundantly clear that their story, just like the tale Margaret is spinning, could be a mystery, tragedy, or love ballad, depending on who's telling it.
Hate, 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 hate this synopsis.
Mouth full
Mm-hmm.
and way too long.
And also, like, I don't need to read the book anymore. You just told me what's going to happen. So
I know, this sucks, but there it is. There's a synopsis. If you haven't read the book yet and you're just listening because you need something to like get you through the drive, there's the book in a nutshell.
yeah, you didn't miss anything.
So yeah, we can move on to our overall thoughts and just general discussion about the book before we get into the characters. What did you think?
Okay, I have 2 kind of just like little tidbits that I wanted to add in here just because I couldn't figure out where else to put them. The first is, and then I have 2 like actual points. So the first is that I always forget this about Emily. She does the thing where she stops a sentence midway to say like, I say. So like, afterward, I say, I went into the kitchen. She always does that thing where she like takes a break in the middle, and I wouldn't say I like hate it, but it always trips me up every time I'm reading one of her books. And the second thing that I wanted to say is that
I was making a quip and then I realized my mic was muted because my child was screaming in the background. So I'm just going to keep that one to myself. I think that was the Lord telling me not to say it. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay. The second thing, this is something that drives me crazy in real life when people do this, but she kept saying like, what's the guy, Theo, the guy that she was like texting?
Yeah, Theo.
He kept saying like, he's going to drive up from Atlanta. And I'm a big like directions person. I'm really pretty good at geography. I know like where everything is located. And like, if you're looking at a map and you're on the coast of Georgia, Atlanta is up.
Is north.
And it drives me crazy. Like when people say, like here in Alabama, like we're driving up to the beach. Like where upwards are you driving to?
Where?
It makes me absolutely irate. And she said it a couple times. Like she also said like she's going to be driving up to her mom's. Now she never specified where in Georgia her mom lived. So like, or maybe she was saying like,
I kind of was under the impression it was near Atlanta.
Okay. I think she was saying I'm going to drive down to my mom's, which like the coast of Georgia is kind of
maybe
like
not.
east, like southeast. So technically I guess you could still drive down just depending on where you're located. But anyway, it was driving me crazy. She said it multiple times and like just directionally stuff like that. It literally drives me insane. I would never like say anything to anybody if they said it to me in real life, but like just know. If you don't know which,
just know you're thinking it.
Yeah, if you don't know which way you're driving on the map, like I don't trust you to drive me there. So anyway, that's my 2 little just like tidbits. But why don't you go now? What were your overall thoughts?
Okay, so my overall thoughts are a little bit less specific. I just like felt like this wasn't typical Emily Henry. Mm-hmm. And so for that reason, it just really wasn't what I was looking for when I like grabbed an Emily Henry book, which makes sense. But the thing I'll say is like at the end in the acknowledgments, she was like, this is like such a like foray into a new type of writing, and thanks for my fans for following me along. I'm like, okay, I would have loved a foreword about that, like at the
Right.
beginning, so that I know that like what I'm reading is not about to be funny smut. And
Yeah.
I feel like usually her characters are funny from page one. Like I'm giggling, I'm already like in on their inside jokes from the second I opened the book. And I just really felt like it was lacking the comedic value that she usually brings to the table. And so I was kind of like, yawn. I was like, why is this not funny?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Like every single thing. And this is kind of what I said. So I felt like for me, the romance aspects of this book were actually one of my favorite that she has written. Like one of my favorite couples, and just I don't know, I really liked the way that she wrote them. I felt like the characters were extremely like normal people, and I really
Yeah.
appreciate
Yes.
that.
Me
Um
too.
But my second point is that like this story to me felt extremely bogged down by the storytelling and the Margaret of it all, and I could not stand it. Like it really was not enjoyable, which is so disappointing because like this is a book that we look forward to all year. We love Emily. Like
Oh my God,
she
all year. We're just like waiting on her to, publish something.
Yes, and for it to be different and for her to not give warning like, "Hey guys, just know that this is a bit different than what you're used to." It just rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah. The more annoying part to me was that it did start out very rom-com-y. Like, this is a girl with like a little kitschy job that she's, well, not that it's that kitschy. She's a journalist, but like she's trying to make her big break, and she's going to this little island, and she's stuck here with all the like small towners. It was very, very rom-com. It just didn't get funny. And then all of a sudden you're not with these characters anymore.
Yep.
And it was just, yeah. So it was like, it was tough for me a little bit.
Yeah.
Like one second you're like talking about her OTD and her new coworker, and the next you're like 50 years in the
Oh my God,
past
yes.
trying to like do investigative journalism in reverse. I don't know.
Yeah. It was super hot and cold, and the way that she switched it up, I was like I would be so into it, and then it's like one of them pages I'd click to the next page and it would say the story, and I was like, I'm gonna kill myself. Like, oh yeah. Okay, let's get into our character lineup. So we'll start with our main character, Alice. What were your thoughts?
Alice at the beginning was like a pinch too sunshine for me, like a little too giddy, a little too happy to be alive, a little too positive. But then I feel like her character did develop past that by the end.
Yeah.
And so I really came around to her, and I felt like she was, like you said, very normal, nothing weird. Her outfits were funny for a second, but then they never really got brought up again. I just want to circle back to like, I wish she was funny. Like, but I do find that girls that are like this in books are rarely super funny, because it's almost like you have to be a little bit bitchy to be funny in books, and that's just how it is. So I don't know. I don't really relate to her, but I think I liked her. I don't have much negative things to say about her.
Yeah, no,
I do wish. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I completely agree. Like normally I hate a grumpy sunshine, and I felt actually this way on both accounts. At the beginning I was like, she's too sunshine, he's too grumpy, and then as the book kind of went on, I felt like that mellowed out, and I was like, they actually feel regular amount sunshine and grumpy. Like he didn't feel like too
Yeah.
much of a grump. She didn't feel too crazy to me. But yeah, like I like the way that she wrote them. I found her to not be like annoying. I didn't feel like anything was corny. But a lot of times with Emily's female main characters, she writes them way too artsy fartsy, kind of like weird, obscure Enneagram 4 for me. And I did not feel that way with Alice. And I was really, really happy about that.
I agree. I feel like she was very structured. She got her work done timely. She was like good at her job. She was like emotionally sound.
Yeah.
So I don't really have a lot of negative things to say about her. One thing that I will say is that I feel like we were kind of robbed of her as the main character in the middle of the book, where I was like very, very invested in Alice and what was going on with her. And then all of a sudden it's like we don't hear from her for
No,
30 pages
no, like
because we're talking about Margaret.
right. She's splitting the screen time with this other female main character who's like an old lady. And like,
Yeah.
no offense to old ladies, but that's not why I picked up this book, you know? One of the things
Yeah.
that I wrote is, what is Emily's obsession with a tall woman with bangs? It's like she can't get
Oh
past
my God.
this physical
And a short
description.
haircut.
Yes. What is the deal?
I don't know. And you can't name her Alice because Twilight already did that. If you're naming somebody Alice, she has to be blonde, first of all, and no bang.
I completely agree. It's really crazy. And it's like, first line of the book is like, my sweaty bangs. I'm like, okay, like,
Yeah. I wanted to comment on what you said earlier about the way she interrupts her sentences, because I had something else I wanted to say about like the way she was writing. I did not notice the sentence thing. Like I genuinely have never noticed that. And so
Okay.
it's funny that you picked up on that. One thing that I noticed, and it happened, the only reason I noticed because it happened like 3 sentences in a row, that she was using these like really weird adjectives. And it was like right when you open the book, she's like just pulled up to like Crescent Island or whatever, Little Crescent. And she's like, I bumped the door closed, and then not adjectives, verbs. Like whenever she like rolled the window down, she like inched the window down, and then she bumped the door closed, and then she shimmied this way. And I'm like, okay, okay, we're good on that, on the verbs. Like she walked,
right. Yeah.
she closed the door.
Yeah, you can just state it plainly. Another thing that I wrote, and I didn't make the note, and now I'm trying to think, there were 2 things that were kind of like phrases or like euphemisms that people use that I just in this book learned how to use them appropriately. But one of them I know was, she said the mother lode, and load was spelled
LODE.
Yeah, I was rattled to my core. Like, I had no fucking idea. And I was like, this is why I read, because now, like, I'm smarter than everybody else who hasn't read this book, because now
Right.
I know that. There was another one, and I can't remember what it was, but it was like pretty soon into the book. But I like made the note. I was like, I'm learning so much. Like, who knew that it was not mother load, LOAD?
No, I would have never known. That was so funny because I had the exact same reaction. I was like, huh. And then she said it multiple times just to like really drive the point home.
Yeah.
So I'll never forget.
Same. My last note about Alice is, I just said, like, at the end, the way I would have been just as fucking mad if I did all this shit and then I found out that my competition is her long lost grandson, I would have reacted the exact same way that Alice did.
To Margaret?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my God. I would have been like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And I actually still have that question. Like, we'll get into Margaret soon, but I'm just like, Alice, if she never spoke to these people again, I wouldn't blame her.
Yeah, no, same.
Like, get out while you still can.
Yep.
Do you want to talk about Margaret next, or you want to go to Hayden? I'll leave it in your court.
Oh gosh. Okay, let's just go ahead and let's talk about Margaret.
Okay. Here's the thing is that I typically love a mysterious character. I'm always like, ooh, what are they doing? What's going on in their head? And just trying to figure them out. And so I usually find them really exciting in books.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm going to just like leave room for that. But then by the end, she like pissed me off so bad that it kind of like mellowed out my opinion of her. And not only that, but like just the way that she handled everything after Cosmo died, which I can't even imagine. So I'm not going to say that she did anything wrong, but like just to get how she got to the point in her life that she is at today, there were a ton of things that she could have done way, way, way better. And then she wouldn't have had to wait until Hayden's in his fucking 30s.
Right.
To meet her grandson. And like now her daughter wants to meet her. Her daughter's probably 60. Like it's just like too little too late for me.
Yeah.
And I feel like she just handled everything in her current era of her life so wrong.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And like, let me sit up. I want to make one thing abundantly clear about my feelings regarding Margaret Ives. I don't give a fuck. Not one. Like, I literally could not care less. The whole thing, Evelyn Hugo energy, like, and I don't know if I've stated this before on the
Katie?
podcast.
I literally was reading this book. I've never read Evelyn Hugo. Okay, to be clear. But what I've heard from you and what I've heard from my sister, I was like, why do I feel like this is exactly how Evelyn Hugo felt?
Oh my God. I literally could not fucking stand it. Like, when I would get to those chapters, I would have to close the book and go do something else. And I would have to mentally prepare myself like, it's 10 pages you got to get through it and then you're back
You can
to
do
it.
it. Yeah.
Oh my God. It was like pulling fucking teeth. I literally hated it because here's the thing. Number one, I hate old Hollywood. I don't like the vibes. I think that it's just really like icky to me and it makes me feel gross. And also, I don't give a fuck about a fake celebrity. Like, I don't care about her life. If this was a real person, maybe it would be interesting to me to like hear her story. This person is not real. I don't care about her family history. I don't care about her great grandfather and the gold rush and how he made his millions and then and he was a piece of shit. Like, I genuinely don't give a single fuck. And she ruined this book for me.
Okay. It's like, I agree with you in some aspects. Like, I don't give a fuck about the gold rush. I don't give a fuck about all the grandparents. That like totally lost me. But I actually did care about the Cosmo and the sister going, into the cults and all of that. Like, I was actually interested in that. But why was that at page 400?
Literally.
Like, why did we spend so much time doing all this other shit?
Oh my God.
It felt like such a waste of my time, but because I feel like there's so much to Margaret there that could be interesting, but you kind of diluted all of that with
with the
the
extensive
old shit.
Yes, with the extensive family history. And the worst part is like, by the time we introduced everybody in her family, I kind of was still like not 100% on who was who and like getting like names confused and stuff. Like, I don't know. One thing that I read that was funny is that, I'm sorry, like, Cosmo Sinclair in my mind equals Caesar Flickerman. Like, I cannot picture him as anyone besides the guy from Hunger Games. So like that was just the mental image that I had in my head the entire time, which I know is like so wrong, but Cosmo Sinclair is just such a crazy name.
No, it's nuts. I'm assuming that Cosmo was like his stage name
I would hope so.
or something. But yeah, I mean, where was he from? Texas?
Tennessee. I think he's from Nashville.
Tennessee. That's right. So not technically off the table for a name, but yeah, I don't know. It's like, I feel like the annoying part to me about Margaret is that she could have been someone that I really liked, but it just didn't pan out that way. And so unfortunately, not my favorite. I don't really have much else to say. I just feel like she pissed me off. So
Agree. Should we go back now and talk about Hayden?
yeah. Why don't you go ahead?
Okay, so I just, like, when I read these books, I just like take notes like as I go about my feelings. And normally at the end, I'll kind of like go back and summarize my overall thoughts. But I decided this time I'm going to keep the notes as they were. And let me just read them. First,
Okay.
I said, I need him to be meaner. He let her in too quickly. And then I said, I like that his grumpy is realistic, though. I am not feeling the chemistry, question mark, question mark, question mark. Then I said, why was the first kiss at 25%? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Then he like rejects her and is like pushes her away and is like, no, like I'm not going to do this. And so it like pisses her off. Then I write all caps. Oh, hell yeah, we hate his ass now. Then like I probably 10 minutes later when they come into contact with one another again and she's nice to him, I say, never mind, that was so short-lived. And so I felt like I just had this real like roller coaster of an experience with Hayden. In the end, I ended up really, really liking him. And I thought that he was like super sweet, how he just like blurts out like, I'm in love with you at the end. I thought that he was really cute. But this is my last thought on Hayden. Why is it sometimes authors try to make the characters ugly? Like,
Katie, I had this exact same thought. You don't have to say that they're not particularly hot or they're not particularly beautiful. Let me decide that.
no, like she's like, he has like these little beady eyes. He's not really even that attractive. Like,
And a little flat mouth. Like,
yeah,
okay,
like,
chill.
okay, first of
What
all,
if I wanted him to have full lips?
no, first of all, this is a rom com. Like, he is hot. I don't care how you have physically described him. In my mind, he's hot, and so is the female main character. So I'm sorry. Like, what's with that? Why do you want him to be ugly?
I don't know. And I felt like it was just like another attempt at having him be normal. But I'm like, this is literally what I do for my break from reality. I don't need my characters to be realistic looking. They're supposed to be otherworldly attractive and randomly stumble into the same small town as you. That's the whole point. But this is kind of a tangent, but I was reading before I read this. I'm almost done with another book that's like a romance, not a rom-com really, but just a regular romance. And same thing, like even the female main character, like I feel like the author is just like trying to get to this point that she's just like not that pretty. And they keep describing like her outfits is really ugly and like hairy legs and like way bigger than the other girls. And then the guy, like they keep describing his skin and hair weird. And I'm like, bro, you have to just put what they like look like on paper once. Like what color hair do they have? What color skin do they have? How tall are they? That's all I need from you. I will let my imagination do the rest.
Right.
You don't have to like keep hammering home this idea of like they're really average looking people.
Yeah, because like, no, they're not. And they're not going to be. Like, I'm not going to be picturing someone who's average or someone who might live in my neighborhood. Like, no, this is going to be the hottest man that I have ever seen in my entire life is starring in the film that's going on inside of my head.
Exactly. And there's no reason to have it any other way.
Right.
Okay, so let me talk about Hayden for a sec. So I liked him. I wasn't obsessed with him, but I just want to say I had the exact same thought. When they kissed, I was like, why are they kissing? Like I didn't even know that they had chemistry.
Yeah.
It was wild. I was like, hang on. Did I miss something? Like what just happened? But then I felt like it like evolved eventually, like really organically, and they were a really good match. My only question is like, is he stupid? How have you spent a month with this girl, this lady. Okay. Your job was to like learn things about her, know things about her. You didn't know that the name Nicolette was her family's hotel?
Oh my God. Yeah. That, and it's like, he was obviously smart enough to figure out like the Cecil thing, like of it all. And he couldn't then decipher even further. Like,
yeah. I was really shocked by that at the end. I was like, this isn't. It needed to be a more obscure fact for that to have worked. Like it couldn't have been like the name of a hotel. Maybe it was just like a name of a cat or like a boat or something like more random.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It was really, really weird. But
yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good twist. Like I really didn't see it coming. I thought maybe she just found him because he had a Pulitzer Prize. I thought there might be something more to the story, but once we found out that I was calling him Cecil, once we found out that he was like involved in all this, I was like, oh, okay, maybe that was like the big reveal. And Jody.
Yeah, no,
But
I
then
agree. It
this
caught me
kinda
off
caught me by
guard.
surprise.
Yep, me
Yeah.
too. But I was kind of the same. I was like, when he sees it and it's like, wait, Nicolette is my mom's name. I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Like, either Margaret didn't tell him that part of the story, or I mean, I don't know, but it felt really
But
obvious.
the only reason why it's not even that like she had to tell him that part of the story, because Alice was like calling him, like looking through their records. Like it was probably on their Wikipedia page if he looked into the hotel at all, but it seems like he just like didn't get to that, and I'm like, I can't really figure out why that would have happened.
Yeah.
Why he didn't do research.
Yeah. I agree. I don't know. That's definitely a great point. But I did like the twist of that at the end. And then
Me too.
did we find out? I can't remember because I finished the book like a week ago. Did we find out if he ever like had a relationship with Margaret after that?
Yeah, they like went down to her house and like helped with the garden when she got older, and his mom wanted to meet her and was like super excited to like have a relationship. So they do have a relationship with Margaret still
Okay.
at the end of the book.
Well, I'm glad that worked
So
out
that's
for
good.
them.
Me too. Okay, so now on to Cecil.
Okay. I don't have much for him. I enjoyed having his character around. Like, I just felt like for comedic purposes and just to kind of like really dial in, like, this is just like a small island, like that kind of vibe. And I liked the way that she wrote him into the story. Like, he actually is connected to all of this. So that's why he was like so nosy about there being like reporters on the island and stuff.
Yeah.
But other than that, I didn't have much besides like, I'm just happy that he and Laura ended up having like a nice quiet life after all of the trauma and everything went on. And that's all that I really had for him.
Yeah. I thought he was really funny. He's definitely like quintessential small town comedy character.
Yeah.
Like the owner of the bar, does crazy stuff, wears funny shit. And then to find out that he's actually like a doctor that like doctor of the stars,
Right.
like I was like, okay, Cecil, good for you. Or Cecil, whatever. And I was glad that like someone close to the Ives family was like maintained their sanity. So him and Jody like having their normal life was like really made me feel good. But I thought he was awesome. Yeah, I don't really have much else to add about him. But we can talk about Jody if you want.
Okay, so I kind of lumped Jody and Laura together. To me, Jody seemed really funny and like what we got of her. Like she seemed like kind of like no nonsense, like kind of bitchy. But my only thing is like I wish that we would have gotten more of her, especially once we found out that she was actually Laura's daughter.
Yes, I totally agree.
So I don't know. It's just kind of like sad. That's the thing about this book. Like besides Hayden, Alice, and Margaret, like the other characters really did not play a big role. So I don't have like a ton.
Got the shaft.
Yeah.
It's like the good ones that I was really interested in like didn't really get their limelight. But I agree. I would have loved to have more of Jody. I liked the pieces that we got. I liked learning that she's like part of the family and that's why she like helps Margaret so much. Even though it's begrudgingly, that's the best part.
Yeah.
But what did you think about her mom, Laura?
Okay. So I was just like really sad for everything that she went through. But like, obviously so happy that she made it out. Like she had this life with Cecil. This is my thing. Laura's part of the story might have been the only part of the Margaret stuff that I enjoyed, because one thing about me, you start talking about a cult, I'm invested in shit like that.
Oh my God, yes, exact same.
So that was the part I was like, wait, I actually like.
Wait, hang on.
Yeah.
I'm sad.
I actually might enjoy this part of the story, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like she went through a lot. She was definitely a unique character, but like, again, I just kind of wish that we would have gotten more of her. Like I would have liked to know even more detail about what all went on while she was at that guy's house and like the history leading up to that and all of that. So I found her quite interesting. What about you?
I did too. I was like so invested in her story, and it was like, but it was just one of those things that kept me like, oh my God, I want to know more about the cult. Why aren't we spending more time about the cult? Because this could make it more interesting. Why are we breezing over this?
Right. Yeah, I agree.
So I don't know. I really loved that part. I was like happy for her that she set the cult up, but I was like, girl, how did you end up here in the first place?
Yeah.
I mean, she had seen some shit, but like, I don't know. I really couldn't relate. But yeah, I just lumping them together makes sense to me, because I was just like, your girl and your mom. We didn't really get enough of either of you, but we liked you both.
Exactly.
What did you think about Alice's mom?
Okay, Alice's mom. She kind of seems like a bitch. but also, like, I feel like she maybe is, like, a bit emotionally dysregulated and, like, kind of went through some stuff with her daughter being sick and then, like, her husband passing away and not necessarily knowing how to navigate those, like, feelings, especially, like, with your children. Um,
Yeah.
this is the thing about Alice's mom is that she doesn't know this, but, like, she's living my dream life. The only thing is that mine entails like a big
Homestead.
giant, yeah, mine entails like a big giant, really nice house instead of just like the rundown, like whatever. But my question is like,
Because she's not doing it as like a dream lifestyle. She's doing it because she feels like this is what we're supposed to do. Like,
right,
this is her way to give back to the world. Is like not needing
right.
anything else
So,
but the
my,
earth to sustain her.
yes, my thing is like, does she not work? Like, how does she garden? Maybe she's like retired or like is living off of Social Security from like her husband passing away. I don't know, but like to me, it seemed like literally every day she's out in the garden digging stuff up,
Yeah.
planting new things. So I don't know.
I don't know. I think that she lives like maybe she does have some money from like the family and stuff, but I think that the whole point of her and the husband is that like they worked to get money to buy their house to where they could live just like a sustainable life where they didn't
Yeah.
really need like that much
Uh,
income. But I don't know what she does. I don't think that was mentioned.
Yeah, I don't think they ever said. But and like again, because Alice is what like 33 or something. Like her mom very easily
Mm-hmm.
could be retired, and
Yeah.
that's just what she does. But anyway, I mean, overall I thought her mom was like neither here nor there.
Really, because she pissed me the fuck off. Like, I was so mad at her. I was like,
Mm.
what are you doing? Which, you know, mom trauma. But like, it's like, you're telling me that you had a daughter, you have two daughters. One of them was like sick with some unnamed illness
Mm-hmm.
forever. And when your other child became independent as a result of that, you took it as that she doesn't need you.
Yeah.
Grow up. Like, it's a
Mm-hmm.
kid.
Yeah.
It's your job as the mom to understand the needs of your child without them having to explicitly state it. And so I don't really vibe with that. I'm like,
Yeah.
you have literally wasted the last 10 years of your relationship with your daughter just because you don't know how to ask questions.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, grow up. And I don't know. It bothers me. Like, at some point, just accept your daughter. Like, this is what she does. Just, it's fine. Like, it literally doesn't impact you. Just, I don't know. People who get so invested in other people's business when it does not impact them really pisses me off.
Pisses me off.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
I think that your feelings toward her are like completely valid and warranted.
Yeah, I'm always gonna blame the mom in a mother child situation because it's always the job of the mom to like figure or the parent, any
100%.
parent,
100%.
to like put that effort in and figure out what's going on with your kid. But the other thing that was weird to me is like, why did we not find out about Alice's sister being sick until she's like, yeah, back whenever she was sick, Audrey. I'm like, when and who's Audrey?
Yeah, and also like that really never came to fruition. I know it's supposed to be like the backstory about like why Alice grew up the way that she did and like feels this way about things. But I don't know, like we never met Audrey, like she never had a conversation with her, I'm pretty sure, like throughout the entire
We never had a
book.
flashback of like what Audrey was going through. We just heard that she was sick, heard that she had surgeries, and then they moved to a new school. That's all we learned.
Yeah. Yeah, she just felt, I don't know. If you don't have anything else, I kind of want to move to Alice's work friends because I felt the same way about
Yeah.
them that I felt about
Yeah.
Audrey, is that like they weren't necessary to this story. To me, it felt like maybe they were like a last minute addition to kind of like give color to the fact that like she does have a life back home in LA, because other than this group text, there is absolutely no connection for either Alice or Hayden to the like allude to the fact that they don't actually live on this island. Like their entire lives are not on this island,
Yeah.
like in real life. So I don't know, like I didn't think much of the friends, but then at the very end when the two of them had slept together previously, I was like, hold on, back up. Now I want to know more about these friends.
I know. And I put that like, I feel like they were overdone in the parts that we got them to compensate
Yes.
for the fact that we never got them. And it made me annoyed because I'm like, I don't know you. So I don't want to read your texts.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like introduce them, have them come to Little Crescent, have us like hang out with them and get to know them before the very end whenever we're like, she's staying at their mom's house.
Uh-huh.
Or they're staying at her mom's house with her. Like it just felt like it was just kind of slapped onto the end because like you said, there's no connection to the normal world for these two characters.
Yeah, I don't know. They just felt, I don't know, just unnecessary to me.
It felt incomplete.
Yes, incomplete is a better word. Yeah, because like you need some indication that she does have a real life. Like she has an apartment and like friends and stuff back home. But like this was quite literally our only glimpse into that was this group text until the end. And I don't know, it felt unnecessary to me.
Yeah, I totally agree. I would have liked for us to start out in LA and then hang out with them and do all this stuff. And then she gets called to like Little Crescent. I would have liked for that to have been, but you know, they don't consult the laymen on the structure.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that we've talked through all of the characters, why don't we play favorites? Who was your favorite character?
Okay, genuinely, I don't know because we have honestly 3 characters and I didn't find any of them like particularly compelling, but I just said Hayden. And then I don't know, the only other thing I can think of is like Cecil was funny and I really enjoyed like the Laura portion, like talking about the cult. So
Okay.
yeah.
I don't think you're going to like my answer.
Okay.
Or you're probably just not even going to remember this person, but Bernie, Margaret's mom, was actually my favorite character.
Oh, no, she was great. No, that's such a good call. Such a good one. She seemed like
I didn't know if you like glossed over her parts. She seemed like a badass. I love her.
She did. And she seemed like a genuinely like good mother, which is like the first one to exist in this.
Oh, yeah.
in this world.
Exactly.
No, that's a really
Maybe
good
that's
call.
what I was clinging on to.
Yeah. No, that's a good one.
Subconsciously. Okay, so what was your favorite scene?
Oh, this was so easy for me is when Hayden comes to her during the storm.
That's what I put.
Okay, it was just like cozy, blissful, sexy vibes. And finally we got like the moment that we had been waiting for. I have no notes for her. The scene, it was like, it couldn't have been better.
It seriously could not have been better. It was like long. Like it wasn't like cut short. We got all the details. They hung out for a while. It was seriously perfect.
Yep.
I don't have any critiques.
Yep. Okay, same. I'm glad we agreed. That's actually
Yeah,
rare.
me
We
too.
never put the same thing.
We never put the same, not for that at least.
Yep.
Okay, now that we've done that, let's talk some shit.
Okay.
Who was your least favorite character?
Margaret, and it's like literally not even close. She ruined
I
this
knew
book
that
for
was
me.
coming.
Yeah.
She was a runner up for me. For
Okay.
sure.
Okay. So who'd you put then?
Laura.
Oh no.
Yeah.
She was our
No, I
only
just feel like-
thing.
you know, I was interested in her story. I feel like she ruined just about everything. She like
yeah.
kind of ruined the concert because, well, she ruined Margaret's childhood because she couldn't make friends outside of her fucking granddad.
Right.
Like, she needed therapy from day one. She didn't get it. Then she like ruins this concert because her granddad's dead, and now she has to like, you know, be mopey.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's Miss Mopey for 2 years or whatever. And then Margaret finally like, you know, breaks away and she gives her permission to break away. And like as soon as Margaret's getting something good, something normal, Laura's like, you know what, Texas cult. Like,
Yeah.
I am in love with a psychologist and I think that he's going to save the world. And like, I need to be a part of that. And it's like, she left for a few months on a honeymoon. Like, you couldn't give her that time to like enjoy herself. You had to fucking throw it off the rails.
Yeah, and like extort your own family and get involved
Yeah.
like with this man and like completely fuck yourself up mentally, physically, like.
And then I was wondering, was the extortion, did she fake the extortion to meet up with them. Like, was she like
Ah.
realizing that everything was wrong and she needed to get home, so she faked an extortion or like set up an extortion with like the people so that she could tell Margaret about the raid. So maybe I'm hoping that
Yeah.
that's what it was, but like even then when she got home and they like had their big fight about everything, I'm just like, then you didn't talk for 30 years after all of this shit.
Yeah. No,
It,
that's
it seriously pissed me off.
yeah, that's really quite valid. So I guess you're not wrong. But
It was very unsisterly behavior on all accounts.
yeah, no, you're not wrong. Okay, what about your least favorite scene?
Okay, my least favorite scene is in parallel to my most favorite scene. Is like I hated when they had that fight after they left her mom's house.
That was tough.
Because I'm like, you just had a weekend together that was actually really nice and like moved the needle forward on your relationship. And now you're getting in a fight because Hayden's trying to help you with your relationship with your mom. And like you, instead of just like sitting there for a second and being mad in silence and taking in everything he's saying and understanding why am I mad about that?
yeah.
You just like lose your shit, cause a fight, and then he's coming to apologize.
Oh my god, yeah, no. And she got like so defensive, and that's that was a really tough thing. And it's like the thing about these books is that you always know it's coming. Like it's just around the corner whenever they
That's what I put. I was like, I understand the need for a fight and or some sort of conflict, but I didn't feel like that had to be the time or
Yeah.
the reason.
I know it was really, really tough. And similarly, I wrote for my least favorite scene, like, I just didn't like when they went to go visit her mom. And this one I can't even explain. Like, I didn't like the vibes, the energy. And I think it was truly just the mom, like, giving nothing or, you know, like at least like emotionally or supportive for Alice. I just didn't like it. And I kind of didn't like that she went back at the end and like stayed there for months, you know, trying to get things.
I kind of liked that they made up, but I did feel like their makeup, it's another thing. Like she crammed too much shit into this book, but never completed any of it. It's like, I wanted to hear all about their reconciliation because the one sentence that we got wasn't enough for me. I was like, her saying, "Oh, you belong." Like, okay, prove it. Like, tell me all the ways you're sorry.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. I agree. That's when I was reading it, I was like, wait, there's like 4 pages left in this book, and this guy still
I know.
he hasn't shown back up yet. So what's the deal? Which I kind of always feel this way about Emily's books. Like I was just thinking about Happy Place and like the way that it ends and the way that they reconcile. Well, spoiler alert, they reconcile at the end. I assume everyone like knows that going in. But it was like really late in the book, and I was like, there's not enough time left for me to get a good idea of like how happy and in love they actually are after this point in time. So
Yeah.
it was just a little late.
That's actually like understatement of the year because in one page, she makes up with her mom. They write the book about Margaret together and they have a baby. So it's not like she really gave us any time to process any of that information. That's why you don't remember that they were still family with Margaret because it was one sentence.
No, literally, it's like a paragraph on like the entire after he comes and makes up with her, and the end of the book is like 2 pages.
Seriously, it's crazy. And I meant to say this earlier. We sat through this. We sat through all the history. We sat through all of the character development for Margaret, for Alice, for them to, you know, bring up this idea of a joint book collaboration, whatever it's called. For us to not even get an insight into like what the book, how well it did, what the press was saying, what the snippets were. I was like, excuse the fuck out of me. That was the point of the whole book. That was the plot.
We literally read half of this book and didn't even get to like hear how it turned out in the end. And like it felt too obvious to me of like, why don't we write the book together? Like the way it was, I was waiting on that to happen the entire time, and I didn't like it.
And I was like, why did? Okay, no offense, but as soon as you find out that you're the grandson of Margaret, you're disqualified. you no longer have an unbiased opinion. And I really wanted to get more into Hayden's interviews with her. Like I wanted to see that what he was getting so that I could compare
Yep.
notes. But anyway,
Anyway, okay, did you have any hot takes?
I pretty much already said this, but like maybe I didn't say this. Yeah, I kind of did. I don't feel bad for Margaret. Like not in the slightest. I feel like I could have felt bad for her when her husband died. I did feel bad for her when that happened. I felt bad for her when like the paparazzi like ruined her morning after she had that baby. Everything that she did after she gave the baby away, which I don't think was a bad decision. I think that was fine. From then on out, everything was self-inflicted.
Yeah, I
Literally
completely
every
agree.
single thing. And I also feel like she maybe didn't try hard enough with Laura, her sister, at any point in Laura's life. And that's why she ended up that way, which like whatever. But I can't bring myself to feel any kind of pity for her. And then the way she went about the whole memoir situation was terrible.
No, I completely agree with you. And honestly, I felt the same way in Evelyn Hugo. The more I know this person, the more I really like despise them and honestly feel as though everything that they had, like they had coming, it's kind of crazy, but
Yeah.
like it was a result of their own actions. So
Exactly.
I felt the same way for Margaret. Like at first I thought she seems like a really sweet, warm old lady. Like I'm talking like first
Yeah.
interaction. That's kind of what I thought of her. Like she seems really great. The way again, I don't give a fuck about this woman. Like I don't give a fuck about her story, her family. I think that again, losing your husband in that way, especially like knowing that you're pregnant, I can't imagine. Maybe I feel bad for her on that account. That's the only
Yeah.
thing. That's the only sympathy she's getting from me. I really don't care about the rest.
Exactly. Totally agree. Then my second hot take is that the NDA literally ruined this book. Like from the moment it was signed, the book was no longer able to be like a normal rom-com, because like if this was like normal rom-com vibes, they would get together, they would compare notes, they would say like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm not going to tell you how I'm thinking of framing this, but like this is what she's telling me. And then we could have gotten Hayden's perspective, and they could have gone down the rabbit hole together of like, why is she acting weird? They could have like mystery solved together
Right.
about like how Hayden's related to her. That could have been their big conflict of like, he doesn't know what to do about it, she wants to confront it right away. Like this could have been so good if we didn't have an NDA.
Love that take, because I would have actually been interested in this if we would have gotten, or maybe even in, y'all know I'm not a fan of dual POV, but I really feel like in this instance, like it could have helped us just because, like you said, I wanted to have more insight into what she was telling Hayden and how it was differing from what she was telling Alice. I love like
Yeah.
an investigation working together.
Me too. Me too. I'm like,
That's-
why is Alice having to go sit across from you in silence on her laptop? Like, why can't y'all be like trying to solve all the mysteries?
Yeah, I really like that take.
Okay, what about you? Do you have any hot takes?
I have, yes. Okay.
Of course.
This to me is not a romance book. This is not a rom-com book. Sure, there's like a romance aspect to it. To me, I would put this in the like women's fiction genre. Like
Yep.
Margaret's story was so prevalent and took up so much space in this book. It feels completely different, and that's another reason why I'm so upset we didn't get any kind of warning beforehand like, hey, this isn't my typical summer read for you guys. Like you need to know going in that it's a bit different. And then I also feel as though I actually think that this could work on screen. I think that this would make a good movie just because like it can be focused primarily on Margaret, and then you also have kind of like the romance aspect going on in the background, and I think that that really works like on screen. But for a book, I didn't enjoy it, especially given Emily's history. She doesn't write things like this, and therefore I was disappointed to find that it wasn't what I wanted it to be.
Yeah. I just looked it up on Goodreads, and it doesn't have rom-com. It says romance, fiction, contemporary, adult.
Okay.
So maybe she didn't have to actually even like say that this was a rom-com, but like
Yeah.
the thing is with Emily Henry, why would I even look into what she has it listed as? Because it's fucking Emily Henry and it's the
Right.
same exact pictures, little cartoons on the front.
It's the cartoons. It's the bright colors. The book's fucking called Great Big Beautiful Life, and you expect me to think that this is not a rom-com? That's not my fault.
Okay, let's dig into that a little bit. Why the fuck was it called that?
And oh my God, this is a pet fucking peeve of mine. Corny hate. When an author puts the title like in a sentence in the book
On the last fucking page?
on the
On
last
page.
fucking page, bitch.
Like-
I hate it. It feels so cheap to me, like too
Yeah.
just corny. And I can't believe that she did it. I forgot about that like altogether. I hated it.
Yeah. I feel like what she did with Book Lovers and Beach Read and Funny Story, they were all like very much incorporated. And maybe she said Funny Story and Funny Story, but it wasn't like, oh, that's the title of this book. Like, you know, it fit into the plot. And then for Book Lovers and Beach Read and Happy Place, you don't even have to wonder why they're named that.
Right.
I was literally on like probably 95% on the book, and I'm like, why is it called this?
Yeah.
Okay, and that's the fact. Okay, next.
I couldn't stand it. And like, I'm not gonna lie, when the book first got announced and that was the title, I was like, okay, like I'm trusting her.
Well, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a travel book, like Great Big Beautiful Life. Like there's gonna be like adventures and this and that and like, you know, worldview and like all this shit. And now I'm like, okay, this should have been called The History of Margaret Ives.
Literally, like it. Or
This should have been called The Tabloid Princess.
something. I don't even know. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm so upset about this book. Like, okay, should we get into our
Oh my God.
final ratings?
Yeah, we can do final ratings.
Okay, what did you think?
So Chili's, I put 1.5. I was very comfortable with the Chili's here. It was like right up my alley.
Yeah.
Only thing I'll say is like, I never want to read another fucking blue ball scene on the beach in the sand. You're laying in the sand
Oh my God.
and you're like, oh, you're grabbing her boob and you're saying that she's wet. And then you're like, let's walk back to the car.
Oh my gosh.
Fucking kill me.
No, okay. And I really felt like, because I said 1.25 to 1.5 Chili's. I felt like it was actually a lot in frequency. However, the like description, it wasn't necessarily like so descriptive every time.
In depth. Yeah.
But there was a lot of tension, a lot of build up scenes. Like before they actually had sex, it was kind of like a lot. And I was feeling the same way. Like, give it to me. I need it.
I do like a build up for sure, but it doesn't have to be like, if you're to the point where you're touching her vagina and then you decide that you don't want to have sex, that doesn't mean that you should take that away from her.
Right.
If she wants a
Right.
little something.
Right.
So like, why? It just feels unfair
Yeah.
to me as a reader.
And to me as a woman, I completely agree.
As a woman, thank you. So that was where I stood on the Chili's. And then for the book, I gave it 3 stars.
Okay, I also gave it 3 stars.
Nice.
I just said,
wow, we are so simpatico today.
simpatico. Yes, I said I hated literally 40% of this book.
Literally.
So that 3 stars feels extremely accurate. I want to go on record and say, like, I really enjoyed the romance. Alice and Hayden's story was great.
Was
Like,
actually great.
yeah, I honestly have not a lot of notes. And had this book been carried out in the normal way, Margaret is like nowhere to be found in this book. I probably would have rated it like one of my most favorite Emily Henry books, but unfortunately, like, what the fuck was this? I'm so upset. Like, I wanted to love this so, so, so bad. And the first time I started dreading reading this book, I was like, it finally happened. I can't do
Yeah.
this.
No, that's the thing is that I started this book 3 weeks ago, and in my head we were going to be recording in 2 weeks. And for me these days that's pretty quick for how thick this book was. But you know what I said to Jake? I was like, it doesn't matter because this is Emily Henry. It's going to keep me up at night.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get done with it. It's not going to be a problem. And then the reason, not only my scheduling error, but like the reason it was such a problem is because it was so unexpected for me not to literally want to dive in and finish it in one sitting.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really
And so
unfortunate.
when you come into a book with those expectations, it's really hard to meet them.
Yeah. No, it was a tough experience, and like it probably took me a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks to finish this book, and it was because I kept having to take a break every single time. Like I was not looking forward to reading, which is so sad and unfortunate, especially for Emily Henry.
It's so sad.
So
Yeah. Okay, so if you had to do your new Emily Henry book bracket of best to worst, where does this fall for you?
this is dead last, and it's not even close. Like, give me People We Meet on Vacation every day over this book. At least it was a romance. At least I'm not learning about a fake celebrity. And even in People We Meet on Vacation, there were a lot of flashbacks, which I also really dislike. I would read flashbacks that are still involving the two main characters every day of the week before I would read any kind of like fake celebrity memoir journalism story. Like, never sign me up to read a book like this literally ever again. I had enough with Evelyn Hugo. This one, like, I'm tapped out. Never recommend a book to me that has this
Seriously.
kind of like setup in it ever again. And now maybe you should not read Evelyn Hugo, that you will highly dislike it.
Highly dislike it. I totally agree with you. This is bottom of the totem pole for me. 3 stars as my least favorite book of yours is still very good. For Emily Henry, I think that she writes things really well, really very palatable. But overall, it's just like not anywhere close to her prior books. Like, I just can't believe it's the same person.
Same. I found myself saying that several times. Like, this is the same author who wrote Book Lovers, like one of my favorite books in the whole entire world, like best books. And honestly, with the setup of this, I felt like we were really on track to have another Book Lovers type of hit. Like, they're competitors, they don't necessarily like each other. He's like kind of an asshole. And it just didn't.
I thought it was really, that's what I'm saying. Like, it started off romcom, Emily Henry, banger. And the thing is, when people ask me who my favorite author is, I say Emily Henry, but now I'm going to say Emily Henry, but don't read this and don't read People We Meet on Vacation, and then just read the rest.
Yeah, no, I think that's a completely fair assessment. So, yeah, it's sad. I
Okay,
never thought I'd see the
speaking-
day.
I know, it's really sad. Okay, so speaking of things that we should read, what do you have next up for what is going to be June?
Oh my God, I cannot believe we're in June. Okay, so our book for June is a little bit of an unexpected twist for us. We were planning on reading something else, but then a new book came out that Book Talk. Oh my God, all the girls, every single girl. This is going to be...
girly is talking about this.
Oh my God, this is going to be the next romantasy book of the year. You guys have to read it. I devoured this in one sitting. I can't believe, like, this author is just up and coming. She's going to be the next Sarah J. Maas. Okay. We're going to see. Y'all, like, we've done this so many times where it's been the book that everybody's talking about, and like it 9 times out of 10 it falls flat. So
okay, this episode is the prime example of that. But go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, for June we will be reading Silver Elite by Danny Francis. What's so funny is that, like, apparently no one can figure out who this person is. Like, they think it's a pen name. They think that it's secretly Sarah J. Maas that has come out.
I have been seeing that. So there's a ton of speculation that this is actually an already established author, maybe in a different genre, that's using this as a pen name to kind of like test the waters a little bit in fantasy. And so I'm really excited. I have not looked into it at all. I like to go in pretty blind, but I was served some fan art for this book a couple of weeks ago. And so I actually really liked what I saw, which it was AI, but you know what I mean.
Right. Yeah, no, of course. Okay. I haven't seen anything. Like, I don't know one bit what this book is about. I don't know how long it is, which I was just thinking about. But we'll see. I feel like we need to be in the know, and I don't know. I'm scared.
This is a moment in time that we cannot let pass us by. I will be reading this starting tonight. But I also think like it's already past the litmus test. Like, the girls are talking about it on TikTok. There's speculation about the author. And then the final piece of the puzzle is there's AI fan art. So I think we've hit the trifecta, and this is going to be a hit.
Oh my God. If it's not, I'm seriously going to be so upset. Like,
Me too. Do you feel like this year in particular has been like a fall flat year?
yes. What all
Like
have
a
we read this
bunch of
year?
rumble and hullabaloo, and then all of a sudden we read it and we're like, wait, The Wedding People?
Okay. We read
This book.
Metal Slinger, Sunrise on the Reaping.
Okay. Smash hit, okay? Box office. But the
Oh.
rest of you girls get it together.
You know what else we read was Onyx Storm this year.
Okay.
That might
That's
be
literally the
it.
prototype of what's been happening is like the media, the movies, like they're going to get picked up by Hulu. And then all of a sudden we read it and we're like, bitch.
Who the fuck is
Like,
rating
this
these
isn't what we want.
books? Oh my God. Yes.
Bots, I believe.
Bots are rating these books. Yeah. We will see. I'm extremely nervous. It's like, how many times I feel like constantly I'm on this podcast saying, this is the best book of the year. And then it literally is so fucking bad. And we hated every single,
And
every
then we
second.
get on the end and we say, you bitches aren't trustworthy. We hate you. We don't trust you. And then we say, they recommended this. Let's read it.
Right,
So
like-
it's like, really? We're just circling the drain.
No,
here.
literally, it's like literally the definition of insanity, but here we are again. So we'll see what June has in store for us.
Well, I can't wait. Thank you guys so much for joining us on the club this month. We love talking about Emily Henry. She's our favorite girl ever. Don't get the wrong impression by this episode. But like we said, we're talking about this Silver Elite book, and then we do have a book I think already scheduled for July, but we would love to get your feedback on stuff that you've been reading and loving, so that way we can maybe discuss talking about those books in the fall. So you can just DM us on TikTok or on Instagram. Katie's always checking those to make sure that we're up to date. And if you aren't watching this on YouTube, please consider checking our YouTube out. We would love to have new subscribers, and like, comment, subscribe. You know how it is. And we're available as a podcast on Apple, Spotify, anywhere you get your podcasts. We would love to have you. Please refer us to a friend. Thank you so much, Mr. Rachel Schneider, for putting us on the map on TikTok last week. We love you all. And we hope you have a great rest of your week.
All right, guys, we will see you next time.
Bye.